Hello everyone, Jim Childers here again to share with you episode 3 in a series of videos that are designed to encourage you and to help you in using listening excerpts in your full band and sectional rehearsals. In previous videos, I have shared a lot of information about setting up your room, storing your music, retrieving your music, amplification. I'm not going to reshare that same information in each of these videos. I would like to tell you though that these videos are trying to demonstrate tables from a resource book that will help you in using listening excerpts. The name of that resource book is Listening Excerpts to Develop Band Musicianship. And I am going to include a QR code right here once again. If you'll scan that, you'll be able to look at the table of contents of that resource book to see all of the categories or topics that are touched upon. Basically, the resource book, I've taken the time to catalog and put into tables, organize into tables, many different listening excerpts that maybe we share the same albums or CDs that will make it easier for you to find things to play for your students in sectionals and rehearsals. One more thing about that resource book that I haven't shared previously. The tables, if you will look, I'll put in a screenshot of a table for you here. If you look on the right-hand side, there's the notes column. And in a few places, I've put some information in there already. For example, I will occasionally list exemplary by one of my favorite listening examples that you might also like. I might put other information like the instrument you're listening for is an accompaniment instrument or it's a featured instrument. But those columns are designed for you to be able to put in your own information. For example, you might put in a descriptive word, something that helps you know that you want that excerpt in the future. You may even put a note in there that you don't like that excerpt, so you don't waste your time going back to it in the future. It happens. I try to give you a lot of excerpts to choose from. And also I'd like to add that at the end of each table, I have put empty lines, about 5 or so at the end of each table. So if you have an album or a CD that you really like and you know there are excerpts on that CD that you want to use, you can write that information in there so it's quickly accessible for you when you're in a rehearsal. For now though, let's get on with the demonstration. So today's demonstration is going to be of a table that comes after the characteristic tone tables. This comes from a little grouping of tables called Expressive Elements Macro. By macro, I mean these are going to be broad, general mood areas. For example, the first table in this little subgrouping deals with light, boisterous, whimsical type of music. The second table, if you knew you needed to pull up a demonstration of a lyrical sostenuto ballad type of piece, you could look at that table. The table that we're going to look at though, it reads like this: anger, rage, authoritative, declamatory, assertive, continued. So you can kind of see what we're going to be dealing with. Let me set up the scenario for you. Okay, so imagine this. You're in a full band rehearsal and you're working on a piece that has a lot of heavy emphasis. The notes are strongly marked. There definitely should be an assertiveness, but unfortunately your students are fairly flat emotionally. They're not really giving you the power that you want, and you've used some awesome words, some great analogies. You even did some physical movement trying to draw better music out of them, and it's just not working. And you have the thought, hey, I bet a listening excerpt or a listening example would get the job done. So you pick up your glasses, you grab your resource book off of the shelf, and if you're brand new to using the book and you fear thumbing through the book and wasting too much time in front of your students, you could, in your off rehearsal time, you could select an example or two to have ready for them the next day. But if you are the slightest bit familiar with the book, you'll know that you can go to that table of contents and you can look for, there's a table that you need, and you spot it and you notice the page number. So then you move over and you find that table, and then you scan the table trying to find something to play for your students. And when I say scan the table, what I'm referring to is you're looking in the second column on the table, which lists what CD or what album the selections are from. And the far left column lists the actual selections themselves. So you're looking for something that is familiar or something that you think will be a good example to put in front of your students. You may also notice in the far right-hand column the word exemplary. That would be a great one to choose. And so you make your choice, And we're going to use Symphonic Dance number 3 by Clifton Williams, and we're going to, and it lists that the timestamp of the example that we want is 3:40. So the next step is you need to get over to where you have your music stored. I have mine on iTunes in my MacBook, and in the upper right-hand corner there is a search window. So you want to come up with a keyword to help pull the example you want from all that you have listed. So let's say I type in symphonic, and it gives me some choices, and I see Symphonic Dance number 3. So I click on that, and it takes me to that selection. Now, in dealing with your students and trying to make your listening examples to be powerful and to be very efficient, the first step is to focus their attention. So you might want to tell your students, hey, when you listen to this, I want you to listen for the emphasis they're putting on the notes. Listen to how they're using their air to really mark these notes. And if you're not familiar with what you're getting ready to hear, you might just say, I hope what you're going to hear is, and you list off some things just to focus their attention. So we get the example playing, and I know I need to get over to 3:40. So I grab the cursor on the time bar and I start sliding it over closer to 3:40. And there we are. Second step is use some gestures. Make some facial expressions. Help them to spot what you want them to hear. Do some things to help them realize they need to use their abdomen, use their diaphragm muscle. The example is longer, let it play on. So then, after you've let them listen to that, which it wasn't extremely long, you could let them listen to it a second time, but that one's fairly long, so I think they're going to get the point. The third step in efficient listening is to give them some technical advice. So after you come back to the podium, after letting them hear that, you might talk to them about the way they're using their air. You might also mention to them about how when they laid into the longer notes, there was a bit of follow-through of air after they hit. They didn't just smack it and retreat instantly, and that helped add to the power and drive in that music. You might talk to them about many things. You might also talk to them about how this piece relates to the one that you are working on in your rehearsal, the things that are similar, the things that they have in common, just so they'll transfer that learning over to the piece that you're working on. Well, as you can see, it is very simple to use listening, and that didn't really take that much time. If I hadn't been talking about specifically what I was doing to you guys, that would have gone even more quickly, and it took me just a little bit longer to drag that cursor over to the 3-minute and 40-second mark. But it's really rather simple, and if you have a resource that has many listening examples already laid out for you, that really makes it quick and easy for you to put good quality music in front of your students that they will learn from and that they will be motivated by. I just want to say good luck and look forward to seeing you in my next episode.